This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Dollar Car Rental Studios, it's The Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. Open phones here at 888-825-5225. My co-host today, Christy Wright, #1 best-selling author of the book Business Boutique, Ramsey Personality, and host of the Christy Wright podcast. And lots of stuff to talk about today. Christy just did a talk at the summit, the Entree Leadership Summit in Dallas that we had a couple of weeks ago, and it was one of the most highly rated talks among all the speakers that spoke that week, and there were world-renowned communicators on that stage. She was up against some tough competition to get one of the top ratings for sure.
Earn my spot there, earn my
for sure.
But
the reason for the ratings was not only the great delivery and your speaking style and ability, but the content. She was talking about balance, and I get the call life balance. Matter of fact, I spoke to a company yesterday, local company, just a friend of mine. I ran by there and just did one of their talks for them.
Yep.
And I did a little bit of Q&A after, and one of the young guys was saying, "Hey, I got babies, and I little babies, and I just started a business. How do I balance?" I mean, it's a question you and I have gotten for a couple of decades now. How do you balance? How do you balance? People call in here going, "Okay, I want to get out of debt, and I know Gazelle intensity means work like no one else. I mean, I know there's a great place to go when you're broke to work. Yep. I know all of that, but I've got kids, and I'd like for them to actually know that they have a father or a mother. And how do I balance? How do I balance? How do I balance? How do I balance?" And we teach people to be intentional with their money. And the essence of what you told this group of leaders that was so popular was to be intentional with your time.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I think there's such a direct correlation between time and money. And it's not just the obvious of you work and you make money, but I think when you start to realize that time is one of our finite resources, our most finite resource, even more finite than money, you can go get more money, you can't get more time, then it gives you a little bit of a fire under you to want to steward it well, be intentional with it, and to your point, Dave, when we get asked this question, we're always asked in the same way. Balance is always used as a verb. How do I balance it all? How do I balance everything? Like we've got juggling balls, spinning plates, walking a tightrope. It's always these analogies that feel very stressful and full of anxiety. And so as I dug into researching this more and more over the past, 6 to 10 years, I started asking a different question. What if balance is not so much something you do as it is something you create in your life, a sense of peace and confidence in the way that you spend your time? And it leads you to a different answer when you think about balance as something you feel and create than just something you do. It gives you permission to be Gazelle intense when you're paying off your debt because that's the right thing at that time, and to put your phone away when you're on vacation and focus on your kids because that's the right thing at the right time. And so it's amazing how it really did hit a nerve. And I think it's because our world is crazy busy and we've got, a phone in our pocket screaming our name 24/7. So we've got to have some strategies to create a sense of balance even when we live in a world that's very out of balance.
If you don't take a step back and take a big gulp of air, there is never enough money and there's never enough time.
That's right.
And the only way that there's a sense of contentment with either one of those subjects, and they're interrelated that way because Jesus said your treasure's where your heart is. So how you spend your time, how you spend your money, it says what's important to you.
Yeah. And you always say that. I can tell by looking at your bank account and your calendar what you care about because that's where you spend your time and that's where you spend your money. And I would say a lot of people experience tension and stress and frustration because they don't, because they spend their time and money on things that are not important to them and they feel this frustration. And so I love to help people bridge that gap to where they're spending their time on what matters.
In a sense, what you've been saying with balance is what we've been saying with budget. And it's like when you tell your money what to do, you'll on paper, on purpose before the month begins, you'll do a budget and you're making the money go where you want it to go. You feel like you got a raise.
Yes.
When you tell your time what to do, you're going to find margin.
Yes. And you're going to feel more.
Because you're going to say, I'm not doing that.
Right. And you're going to feel more in control because guess what? You are. you are in control of your time and your schedule and your calendar. You set it. Just like you set the budget, you get to make it look like what you want to. But a lot of people are passive and reactive, similar to their money. And so I love to help them, like you help people with the budget. I love to help people take control of their time to actually spend their time on what matters most to them. And then what's really cool is you can still be crazy busy, but you feel that sense of balance because you're no longer trying to do everything. You're doing the right things. And that's where that feeling comes from.
Yeah. And you're present wherever you are. I mean, it's one of your principles is to be where you is.
Yeah. And you know, we talk about social media and we talk about all the distractions, but what's interesting is I discovered a study, and these are by 2 Harvard psychologists, that cited that the more present you are, whether that's not looking at your phone or not even allowing your thoughts to wander to all the things you've got to do, when you can truly be where your feet are, research shows you are happier overall, regardless of what you're doing. It doesn't matter if you're doing something that's not as fun. When you're present in the moment, it leads to more happiness. And so I love to help people figure out what that looks like in their life and put in habits, because even if you create the most perfect schedule in the world, if you're not present for it, you miss it. So you have to figure out how to be present so you can actually experience your life.
Yeah, so the morning run, I did a 3-mile run this morning. It's a really good idea to just enjoy the run.
Yeah.
And not be thinking about the day and thinking about, which I did all morning while I was running. I did it exactly wrong. All I did was think about, I'm going to have to go in, I'm going to fix that today. And that right there, and that guy, I'm going to get, I'm going to, all through your brain.
You have your best ideas on a run, right?
Yeah, but they're you know, you can't, and it was, you know, it was a beautiful Tennessee morning.
Yeah.
And you know, I look back in a sense, I'm chiding myself, but I think what we all do is by not being there, I missed it because I was already here.
We do that. We do that, Dave. You know, this is a silly example, but last year when Matt and I went on vacation to Fort Lauderdale, we just had a little getaway for a weekend. The weather forecast was really bad. It was a bad forecast. It was going to rain and thunderstorm, and I'm just like obsessed about us having a good weekend. And we're driving down the main boulevard on the beach in Fort Lauderdale.
Oh, you're a weather girl.
Not as bad as Rachel. Not near as bad as Rachel.
Nobody's as bad as Rachel.
No,
Rachel should have been a meteorologist.
I know, but I wanted beach days. I wanted good weather. We're driving down the street by the beach right there in Fort Lauderdale, and the top is down on the convertible. The weather is fine. I'm looking at the app on my phone, and I am just obsessively looking at the hourly and the daily forecast, and I felt God say, look up. Look at the weather right in front of you. It's fine.
Yeah.
You're obsessing about what's coming.
Yeah.
Look at what's going on right now. And I thought, gosh, don't we all do that?
I have to tell all 3 girls in our family pretty regularly that a 40% chance of rain means a 60% chance of sunshine. Jeez, man, the glass is half full. Come on. Oh, yeah. Okay, so if you want to know more about this, Christy's got a tool to help you. Take the challenge to get 24 hours added to your week. We're going to show you how to do it. And it goes with the money piece. Text Time Finder to 33444. Text Time Finder to 33444, and we'll send you a free tool that Christy says is going to add 24 hours to your week. It's kind of like getting a raise when you do a budget. Same thing. When you start doing stuff on purpose, you immediately carve out the superfluous garbage out of your life. This is The Ramsey Show.
Still on baby step number 1, eh?
How'd you guess?
With healthcare costs rising, learn how Christian Healthcare Ministries can help you make the most out of your budget. Visit chministries.org/budget.
Don't worry, it's worth it.
Christy Wright, Ramsey personality, #1 best-selling author, is my co-host today. This is the Ramsey Show, where we talk about your life, your money, and your life. We're talking a little bit about life balance coming out of that segment. And any of you have any questions about that subject, you can jump in here on the air as well. Kelly will put you on. The phone number is 888-825-5225. Gabriel is with us in Los Angeles. Hi, Gabriel. How are you?
Hi, Christy. Hi, Dave. How you guys doing?
Great, man. What's up?
Hey, so I had a question for you, Dave. I'm on baby step 2 right now. I have about $12,000 in my savings, and right now at the moment, I know I got to pay off all my debt, and I have 2 car payments. One of the cars doesn't work though. The engine went out, so it's going to cost me thousands of dollars to fix it. So my question is, I know I heard you, it might have been a couple of weeks back, saying that a 0 credit score is fine if you have cash because all your debt's paid off. So my question was, do I let this car go that doesn't work and let them take it, even though it's going to mess up my credit, or do I pay it off? That's my question.
Okay. So what do you owe on the car that works?
The car that works is, I still owe a lot. I still owe about $24,000. I barely knew.
What do you make?
I make $40,000 a year.
Okay. Have you got that car for sale yet?
The one that doesn't work?
The one that does work. You can't afford it.
No.
Okay.
No.
So what do you got? Like a $600 car payment, right?
It's $490.
Yeah. Okay. And you make $40K. This is a car you can't afford. This is what's killing you. So the car that doesn't work, what do you owe on it?
I owe about 10.
What is it?
It's a Honda Tucson.
What year?
15.
And the engine blew?
Yes. It's kind of a long story.
I'm just trying to ascertain what to do. Is you said the engine's bad? What does that mean? I mean, you dropped a rod. It's a complete meltdown, or it has to have a new engine, or it just needs heads put on. I mean, what's the situation?
No, it needs a new engine.
Okay. All right. So that car fixed is probably worth 12, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's my guess. I'm not too good at
it probably worth at least what you owe on it. And the one that you owe 24 on, what do you think it's worth?
I don't know. I'd say maybe like 15.
How old are you?
I'm 32.
You have family in the area?
Yeah. I'm actually married with 3 kids and a 4th on the way.
Like your parents are around, your uncles or aunts are around, or anything like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
They're all around.
Okay. Here's what I would tell you to do. All right. You're going to use some of the $12,000 to get a used engine from a salvage yard, a junkyard, that a local mechanic, not a dealer, puts in this car. You can do that for $2,000 to $3,000. You're going to fix that car. Because if you turn it in right now, it's worth $1,000. They're going to sue you for the other $9,000. And you're going to have a repo.
Right.
That is not a plan. Not when you can spend a little bit of your cash, fix the car, and then we're either going to drive that car or we're going to sell it, because we're selling the other one. You don't need a $24,000 car when you make $40 a year.
Right.
That's broke people stuff right there. So we got to get rid of that, and you may have to use some of your $12,000 to get rid of that $24,000 car, because you're probably upside down on it.
Right.
So if you write a check for $2,000 or $3,000 and get out of that car, and a check for $2,000 or $3,000 and get out of the other car, you still got $6,000 left in your savings account, and you're either going to use that to go buy a car for cash to drive, or you're going to drive the $10,000 car and start working your way to paying it off.
Right.
after you put a used engine in it. So here's the deal. Somebody totaled a car just like that, and the car they totaled only had 20,000 miles on it, and so the engine that's sitting in that totaled car in that salvage yard is a perfectly good engine. And it is the cheapest way to put an engine in a used car. A used engine in a used car.
Mm-hmm.
And you can do that in the Los Angeles area. The reason I was asking about family in the area is my advice is kind of old school redneck advice, and I was hoping one of your daddy or your uncle or somebody actually had turned a wrench at some point in their life and would know how to pull off what I'm talking about with a good local mechanic. I'm not suggesting they actually do the engine change out, but the point is that somebody can get their head around this. Because, dude, if you just walk away from this, you're going to get sued for $9,000, and you're still going to be sitting on a $24,000 car you can't afford.
Right.
That's not a plan. That's 5 years from today. You're going to look back and go, both of those things were dumb. And if you fix this in the next 4 or 5 months, the way I'm talking about, you would have no car payments or very little car payment.
Gabriel, I hope you really do it. You sound a little sleepy to me. I hope you really do it. You've got a baby on the way, a 4th baby, by the way. I hope you really do it. Get yourself out of this mess. Yeah.
The problem is, Larry Burkett used to say, and he was a guy that, in the Christian world that taught on money. He said, whatever time it takes you to get into a mess, it usually takes you about the same time to get out. And I have learned that to disagree with that. It usually does take you about half the time.
Okay.
So if it took you 3 years to make the mess, it might take you a year and a half to get out.
Okay.
But it usually doesn't take you 3 years to get out.
Yeah.
In his case, he's either going to continue making messes.
Yeah.
By being half asleep.
Right.
and turning this car in and continuing to try to drive a $24,000 car you can't afford.
Right.
Because he's sleep deprived with a house full of kids. I don't know. But, or he's going to throw his shoulders back, straighten that spine out, and step into this thing and go, I'm going to go into a short-term, intense amount of inconvenience and pain.
Yeah.
To limit my long-term damage.
Well, it's like you always talk about, you can wander into debt, you cannot wander out. People get into a mess gradually, incrementally, by degrees, accidentally. Few people go headlong into it like, I really want to mess my life up.
No one looks at something and goes, that's really stupid, I'm going to do it anyway.
I can't wait to do it. I can't wait to, no.
Unless they're doing drugs. Right. I mean, no one just does it, right?
No, it's gradual. And so it takes you 3 years of gradual missteps, and then you look up
or
and
it
you
is a really dumb idea, but you just thought it was smart.
Sure.
At least you thought it was smart, I mean, I've done a lot of stuff, I've been an enthusiastic ignoramus several times, right?
Same, sure. But then when you decide what you're going to do to fix it, you get an intensity about you that lessens the time it takes to get out. That's what you talk about with the Gazelle intensity. That's what you talk about with the year and a half versus 3 years. You have an intensity and a drive and a fire under you to fix it.
Well, it's like we're talking about running this morning, but you're a big time runner and you've done a lot more half marathons or marathons than I've done. But it's amazing to me that you can run 12 and a half miles over. For me, that's a 2 hour arrangement, right? And I'm turned the corner, and after running, jogging, whatever, for 2.5 hours, or for 2 hours and 10 minutes or 5 minutes or whatever, I turn the corner, and I can still sprint.
Yeah.
In my mind, it's sprinting, but I mean, at least I can run fast. I've still got something left in the tank because I can see the finish line.
That's right.
And you go, I'm going to shave just a few more seconds off of this deal.
Yeah.
And I'm going to bust that line right there, and I'm going to bust into it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to stop and walk across the line.
Yeah. You see people with this paying off their debt, they actually end up doing it quicker than they thought their goal because they get that intensity at
That
the
last
end.
6 months, because they start to believe.
That's right.
They kick it in. And there's something that goes with that. It's pretty powerful, you guys. So, hey, personal finance is 80% behavior. It's only 20% head knowledge. Most people know what to do, but for 30 years, we've been convincing them to do it around here. It's called The Ramsey Show. Stop paying your overpriced wireless provider and switch to Pure Talk. They use the same network as the larger providers for much less. For just $30 a month, get unlimited talk, text, and 6 gigs of data with no contract. The average family saves over $70 a month by switching to Pure Talk. Just go to puretalk.com and enter the promo code Ramsey to save 50% off your first month. Pure Talk, simply smarter wireless. In the lobby of Ramsey Solutions, Will and Samantha are with us. Hey, guys, what's up?
How you doing, sir?
On the debt-free stage. It must mean one thing and one thing only. You're debt-free. How much did you pay off?
We paid off $62,800.
Good for you.
Awesome.
And how long did this take?
About 12 months.
Good. And your range of income during that time?
We started at $100,000 and we ended up about $105,000.
Cool. What do y'all do for a living?
I'm a teacher, but during our debt-free time, I actually took a job as a tutor during the summer, so I was still able to work 40 hours a week. And
Cool.
then I also picked up a job during the holidays at a department store, so we could be done in a year.
Hustle,
Awesome.
hustle.
Yeah.
Yeah, she worked about 4 jobs.
Hustle and grind. I love it. What kind of debt was the $63,000?
Student loan debt,
All of it.
all of it.
And where do you guys live?
We live
Louisville,
in
Kentucky.
Okay. And how long have you guys been married?
November of 19, so about a year and a half.
Awesome.
A little over a year and a half. So.
Intense first year and a half of marriage working on this. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
So you said you're a teacher, and what do you do, Will?
I work for a community bank up in Louisville.
Okay, great. Very cool.
Cool. So what happened a year ago? What got you fired up to do this?
Well, I grew up listening to Dave. My
Oh.
dad's a CPA. I remember we'd be leaving church, and Dave Ramsey be playing on Sunday in the car.
There you go.
The second
telling her-
sermon.
Yeah. I said we'd be backing out, and there's some redneck from Antioch, Tennessee that's on the radio leaving.
He was obsessed for a long time, and before we got married, he was like, "We're gonna do the Dave Ramsey," and I was like, "No, we are not." I love money, and so a couple years ago, I actually had I have type 1 diabetes, and so I had an incident where I was out of work for a couple weeks, a stomach bug that just didn't turn out too well, and we just talked about it, and we didn't want to be in a situation where we couldn't afford the debt because I couldn't work or something, and I don't want to put Will in that situation also. So that's when I kind of jumped on board too.
Yeah. Gives you a different level of motivation when you think of it through that lens.
Yeah.
Oh, no, definitely. Now, I mean, if that were to happen now, it wouldn't really even be a big deal.
Right.
Like, it'd stink because you'd be in the hospital, but outside of that, we could write a check for it.
The money part wouldn't
That's
be a
right.
problem.
Right,
Yeah.
that's right.
Yeah.
You could focus on healing, focus on getting the care that you need, and not worry about the bills.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's good.
So 12 months ago, you made that decision for that reason, and then what did you do? Did y'all jump through financial peace, or what'd you do?
Yeah, we got in financial peace through our church, Southeast.
Okay.
Went out there with Pete, and I remember the toughest moment was when we made that first payment. We put all of our wedding money towards it, and we went down to $1,000 in our savings account. And it was really, really tough because she was crying. And that was just rough, being a newly married guy and
Yep.
laying next to your bride who's crying because of that. That was just really rough. Now it kind of lit a fire underneath both of us to get it done with and just put everything towards it. You know?
I cried a lot.
Yeah.
What was the reason for that cry?
I was more frustrated myself. So I have 2 different degrees, and so I was really frustrated in the first part of not looking at student loans differently because we just weren't taught.
So it was a I feel guilty cry.
Oh, definitely, because
Okay.
he came in the marriage with no debt, and I was like, we're a little bit in debt because of me. And so that's really why I
Okay.
took on so many jobs. And he was
Okay.
like, let me deliver pizza, and I was like, no, it's my debt. So he was being so nice towards
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, she wouldn't let me work another job. But hey.
Wow. So yeah, but at least you're processing it, and at that moment when you put that wedding money out there, and we're doing this together. We're locking arms. We're going to do this, and it sucks, but we're doing it. And that's kind of what it was.
I was so frustrated. We listed all the debt because, it was a nail net. We listed all the different loans out. And when I listed them out, I was just like, dadgummit, that's just...
We're knocking this out.
Yeah.
Just kind of get mad.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you did it in 12 months.
Yeah.
I mean, did
that's
you sell
impressive.
stuff? How much did you have in savings?
I think we put about 10 was the
Okay.
first payment, and then...
So you cash flowed 50 grand.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they were all principal payments. COVID was the best thing that ever happened to us.
Yeah.
There's no interest accruing on them. Everything was principal payment from about, I don't know when they started doing that craziness, like
May or June.
Yeah, May or June on. Which then we just really looked at each other and hunkered down. I was like, they're not accruing any interest. Everything's a principal payment. We just need to pay these off as fast as possible.
That's good.
Yeah.
But still on that income, that's impressive. Y'all paid that off in 12 months on
Yeah.
that income. That is,
I mean,
y'all,
you went down to beans and rice.
you did.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Lots of leftovers. I told people, like, we would go to Sam's Club and buy the huge things of meat, and we would literally eat on it all week because
Yeah.
it was the cheapest thing
Yeah.
you could
Yeah.
buy. And so
God,
that's
I'd
really what we
forgotten
did.
Sharon used to get that dadgum frozen chicken,
Yeah.
bags of those breasts of chicken
Yeah.
at Sam's or Costco.
Yeah.
And I hate that because
gonna
we
say-
would eat it so much.
I haven't heard you talk about that. I've heard you talk about
Yeah.
the tuna fish.
Oh,
To
that
this
was
day.
tuna fish was really broke. This
To
was
this
it. This
day.
was a little bit later, but she
Yeah, we had the
because she's
same-
still a tightwad. That's a problem. But yeah,
She is.
Buy a filet mignon. Yeah, good lord, bring me the cheaper chicken.
Y'all gonna be ruined from that Costco meat now.
I know, right?
Yeah,
We are.
that's all right. That's all right.
Hey, we did it. That's all that matters.
One guy I heard one time, he said, I want to get wealthy enough where I read the menu from the left to the right.
Yep. Yep.
Instead of starting with
On
the
the price.
prices on the menu and figuring out what I'm going to eat, I'm going to figure out what I want to eat because the price doesn't matter.
Yep, yep.
That's a good place to work for baby step 7.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
Good for you guys. Well done.
That's
How's it
awesome.
feel now that you did it?
Oh, it feels great.
Amazing.
Tears of joy?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Trust me, on December 31st, I was crying again, and I was like, I can't believe we did it.
Oh, wow.
Because I
Was that
used-
when you hit the submit button on the last one?
Yes.
New
On the
Year's
day.
Eve.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that's why I got the job at Macy's,
Yeah.
because I told him, I was like, we are so close. If I can just get this department job, we're not going to wake up on January
last
1st
There it
with
is.
with a payment. And so that's really,
You started this year debt free.
You could
yes.
see the finish line you sprinted into. We were just talking about that. Yeah.
Wow.
That is so cool.
Will,
you
how
guys.
excited were your parents?
Oh, they were
Or your
super.
dad?
Oh, everyone. We had a bunch of, my uncle and I had a race. He could pay his farm off, and us if we could pay our debt off first.
That's awesome.
He beat us by a couple of days.
Okay.
He did.
But man, yeah, it was. Everyone was super proud of us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nobody lost that race.
No,
Yeah.
no, we didn't. No, and he didn't either. But yeah, it was. Everyone's super proud of us. We're just really thankful because my parents, you're about the same age as them. They modeled that for me growing up. My dad just bought himself his first new car.
Yeah, and he's an everyday millionaire now.
Oh.
Yeah. Easy.
Yeah,
Easy.
I don't know. We've talked about that stuff, but yeah.
Yeah, but he is.
Yeah.
You and I both know he is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he is.
He's listening in, so he'll be excited you said that.
Well, I mean, if he's not, he really did a bad job of listening all these years. So,
Somehow.
He didn't retain it.
yeah, so
Well, he
but,
probably couldn't hear over 3 boys fighting in the back of the
Screaming.
van. So
it's interesting. The 3 boys fight. The financial peace babies are showing up these days
They
here
are.
on the debt-free stage. And how old are you two?
28.
All right. I'm so proud of y'all.
she's
Thank
29
you.
Friday. So
Yeah. Well, happy
Awesome.
birthday.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Well done. Well done. And you did all this before you're 30, and you got the whole rest of your life to do it smart.
Yeah.
So very, very good. Tears of joy followed from tears of shame. I understand. I've had both myself. Very well done. All right, it's Will and Samantha. We got a copy of the Legacy Journey book because that's the next stage in your life is to move on now and build a full-on legacy. Really continue the legacy your dad started, in a sense. Very well done. And a copy of the Total Money Makeover so you can pay it forward by giving that to somebody who needs their wake-up call. So good stuff. Very good stuff. Will and Samantha, Louisville, Kentucky, $63,000 paid off in 12 months, making 100 to 105. Count it down. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
3,
2, 1.
We're debt-free! Yeah! This is how it's done. That is so fun. So well done, you two.
That's
so
awesome.
well done. And
That last sprint. Took the job in Christmas.
You turn the corner.
That's right.
And you see that last bit, and you can see the yellow tape. You can see you're going to make it, and you bust into it.
Mm-hmm.
And even if it's Macy's, you bust into it.
Yep.
This is The Ramsey Show. Christy Wright, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. You can take the challenge to get back 24 hours in your week if you text Time Finder to 33444. That's an item Christy has put together to help you find some time. Time Finder to 33444. We were talking earlier in the hour about balance and life balance and applying your time like you apply your money to the things that matter most to you. Kevin is in Buffalo, New York. Hey, Kevin, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
Good. So I just got a question about life insurance. So before I really listen to you, I'm an electrician by trade, and I work quite a bit. I'm only 23 years old. I work, and then I also have some family friends who do a lot of property management, so I work on the side for them as well.
Good.
So, like I said, so I'm 23. Currently, I'm making about $1,700 to $1,800 a week after taxes, including the part-time side jobs.
Mm-hmm.
So my life insurance policy I got 2 years ago before I listened to you is whole life.
Mm-hmm.
It's a $13,000 a year premium, but it's a 20-pay, $1 million death benefit, covers long-term care, and obviously has a cash value. But then when I started hearing you say to go term instead, invest the difference, it's now in my head about what I should do. So I don't know what I should do. Should I sell the policy?
Okay. Well, number one, you're 23. You don't need to worry about long-term care insurance. That's asinine.
Okay.
That they sold a 23-year-old a long-term care insurance policy. Absolutely asinine. But that's what these people do. And so the second thing is this: $13,000 for $1 million on a 23-year-old. Did I get that right?
Yeah, but I guess...
Have you priced term insurance on a 23-year-old?
No, I have, but the only reason I liked it is...
No. I wasn't asking why you like it. I said, have you priced $1 million on a 23-year-old term life insurance with Xander Insurance?
$30, $40. Yeah, a month.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah, like $300-400 a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, which means that $12,000, almost $13,000 is going into a savings account inside that policy. Did you notice how much your savings account, your cash value buildup is for the first year? Did you notice that it was zero?
Yes.
Do you not feel screwed? Because you were.
Yes. That's why I'm saying.
Well, I'm serious. You put $12,600 in a savings account, and the balance is zero.
This is bad math.
Yeah.
And you're going to do it again next year? Please don't tell me there's any reason in your brain that thinks this is a good idea.
No, I mean...
No, get rid of this crap. Okay. Are you married?
Today.
Okay. No, I'm single.
We'll just cancel it today.
Okay.
Today. if you want to get some insurance, you don't need $1 million on you to start with, because you're not leaving anybody behind that's going to not eat because you don't do electrician stuff. You might need a little bit to bury you so your mom and dad don't have to pay for it. Do you have a bunch of debt?
0.
Good. How much money do you have in
much.
savings?
Well, I started working at 19. I have $195,000 in a mutual fund.
Good for you.
$18,000.
I think your parents will be able to bury you.
You don't.
Okay. You don't need life insurance, son. At all.
Okay.
At all.
Okay.
And now, when you're married and have a couple kids and your wife is counting on you to make $90,000 a year to feed her and those kids, now maybe we'll pick up $1 million at that point and buy you a 15 or a 20-year level term policy for $300 or $400 a year. In the meantime, I just made you $12,600 a year. And I'm a magician that way. I'm that guy. I just made up $12,000. I just pulled it out of the air and handed it to you, and you paid how much for this? Nothing, because this show is free. Oh my gosh.
Just like that.
Just like that.
30 seconds. And now that savings account's going to grow even more.
So a cash value policy in its first 3 years has cash value buildup of 0. Sometimes in the third year it'll build up a little bit. In the first 2 years it's always 0, and I knew his was 0 because he's in the first year. And here's the bad part. Some doober that he went to high school with went and got his license and went and sold all his friends.
Yep.
And he brought his boss over to sell him.
Yep.
And so he got in the door, some doober that's got in the door on relationship and brought the big boss in who put the arm twist on him and convinced him that this was a good idea.
That he needed $1 million at 23 with no kids.
Yeah.
For what?
And that this is a great.
Who needs
and
that?
of course, we're gonna put long-term care insurance on there too. Yeah, because that matters when you're 23. Yeah, nursing home care is a big deal when you're 23. Jeez. So I totally believe in long-term care insurance. Never buy it with another policy. Do not bundle it with anything. They're bundling it with everything out there trying to make it work, and it's not working. Don't do it. You always buy your long-term care insurance after you're 60 years old.
That was going to be my question.
Not
What age?
23.
Okay.
Yeah.
62.
Ouch. Austin. In Austin. I can't believe I did that. What's up, man? How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
Good. How can we help?
Well, I'll give you a quick background. I'm 26. My wife is 22, and we just had our first baby this past March.
Congratulations.
Thanks for a little quick surprise, but that's
Yeah, you are.
So I'm currently working 2 jobs. I'm working a full-time entry-level position with a salary of about $40,000, which ends up being like $37,000 take home. And I'm waiting tables part-time, making around 20 to 22 per year. So my question, I'm a paraplanner. I just got my FPQP credential at a wealth building firm, and my boss wants me to start training to become an actual financial advisor. So if I start this certification, I'm pretty sure my starting pay will be a good bit higher than what I'm making combined with my 2 jobs. And I guess the main thing that worries me is that, my salary is $40,000, and that if I were to go this route, I'm not sure if I should cut my current full-time job. Full-time. If I should cut my part-time job.
So
that
wait a minute.
really
When would you get the raise?
Well,
if you go into this program to get certified, when would you get the raise?
A supervisor made it sound like it would happen as soon as I earned the credential.
How long does it take? How long does it take you to do that?
I want to say it's a couple of years. I think I could knock it out in less than 2 years.
Okay. And so if you quit the other job, you're $22,000 short during that time.
Exactly, which is my concern. I'm not sure because if I did quit my waiting tables job, then I wouldn't really have the funds to cover all of my expenses, and on top of that, my salary by itself would kind of go over that 25%.
Okay, so I'm running out of time. What's your question then?
My question is, should I ask for a raise in my current position? Because I'm a pretty valuable team member at this point. Would that be appropriate, or should I keep my part-time job and work less hours?
It's always appropriate to ask for a raise if you're worth it. Now, worth it is not, I'm worth it because I like myself, like a Saturday Night Live skit. This is like you can say, this position pays this at other firms, And so I'd like to get paid a little more. I want to add value, but the way you ask for it is, what can I do to be worth more to you guys? Because I need to make some more. And I want to make myself more valuable to you guys. I kind of thought I was doing that, but if there's something else I can do to make myself more valuable, because I want to ditch this waiting tables job so I can get in this CERT program, and I can't afford to do that the way things are now. What can I do to become more valuable to you? And they'll usually will step up, don't you think?
Yes, and Austin, get clarity. You don't sound like you know the date of when you would get the raise or how much the raise would be. It's like, well, I assume. I want you to ask. Ask, what is the path I'm on for advancement financially and from a credential standpoint? Be sure to get clarity.
If I enter this credential program, can we go ahead and give me the raise?
Yeah, get clarity there. Specifically ask.
That becomes a no-brainer.
It's Kelly, associate producer for The Ramsey Show. This episode is over, but if you heard about an event, product, or service and didn't have a chance to write it down, don't worry. We list everything you've heard about during this episode in the podcast show notes section or head to theramseyshow.com. Thanks for listening.
This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Dollar Car Rental Studios, it's The Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. I'm Dave Ramsey, your host. Christy Wright, Ramsey personality, #1 best-selling author, host of the Christy Wright Show, one of the Ramsey Network podcasts that is uber popular, is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Jake starts us off in Garden City, Kansas. Hey, Jake, how are you?
I'm better than I deserve, Dave. How about yourself?
Just the same, sir. Just the same. How can we help?
I am 24 years young, and I've done a lot of dumb in my life. I'm a mechanic. I got a question on if I'm doing the right thing here. I've got almost $22,000 in debt on my tools, which I have to do my job, so I'm paying that off as quick as I can. I'm in a place right now that my house, I have 2 offers on it to where I can get out and get a fair amount of equity out of it. Right now I'm paying on it, and I'm paying the PMI on it and all that, and I'm on a 30-year mortgage. I didn't get into it very smartly, but I have good equity in it, and for what I'm getting offered in this market, it is a very good deal. And I'm going, I found another place actually 30 minutes down the road in another town that would still allow me to get to work easily. And it is already a place that I have equity in, and with the equity I'm pulling out of this place, would be able to put a significant down payment on it, get out of the PMI. Then I also have my pickup right now. I was upside down in it, and the market has gone up.
I'm sorry, wait a minute. You're going to have to stop, Jake. What is it you need?
When I sell my house, do I invest into another house if I can get good equity into it and get under the PMI, or do I use it to pay off credit card debt? I've got $5,000 credit card debt and some Snap-on tool debt. Mm-hmm. Do I use that towards the debts there, or do I use that to get into another house that I can be paying on?
How much are you going to get out of this house?
Approximately a little over $35,000.
And you're 24 years old, and you're single?
Yeah, single, but I have a 7-month-old son.
Okay. And you make what a year?
I make about 75 to 78.
Good for you. Okay. All right. And you got 22 in tools, and how much other debt?
27 on my pickup, which I think I can sell and get a cheaper vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
And 5,000 in credit cards.
Okay. So if you pay off the tools and the credit cards, you're renting right now?
That would be correct if I did that.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you sell the truck, and you build up your emergency fund, and then you build up a down payment. And that's what I would do.
Yes.
Yeah. No, I would not. I would not buy another house right now.
Okay.
And let me just tell you, from a business perspective and knowing a tiny bit about your business, and one of my best friends was in the Snap-on business for a while, those guys are, they are very, very good at what they do, which is selling you tools. And that line of I have to have these tools to make my living is partially true, but it's not true of $22,000 worth. Some of that was bought because you just wanted one. And in your world, adding to that toolbox, unless it absolutely comes out of that toolbox and causes your income to go up more than the cost of that tool sometime in the next 90 days, is BS.
Yes, sir.
It's people in your world overbuy tools.
Yes, sir.
All the time. It's not that you don't need good tools. The Snap-on's good tools. It's good quality stuff. But they will sell you a line that, you have to spend money to make money. And this is what you do your craft with. And all of those lines are technically true, but it causes you to buy a good 30% more than you need in most people in your business. And subcontractors do it in the construction business. Computer people do it. People in the video world do it. They buy a bunch of crap and buy a bunch of equipment, and they spend all of their profits back out in equipment, and it's not stuff you have to do business.
We've talked about this before, Dave. Even with women that I work with through Business Boutique, there's an element of buying stuff, whether it's equipment, supplies, whatever, that we overbuy because it somehow justifies the business, because it somehow makes us feel like this is real, I'm really doing it, I'm a real fill in the blank. Yeah. It's kind of like, I use the example, but when I needed to go buy a suit to interview for my first job out of college, like I didn't have interview clothes. No, I just wanted to feel like I've got a new suit, I've got a new computer bag. You don't need that to do your job. And so when you start looking at, when you run your own business, that money is coming out of your paycheck because it's taking away from the profitability of the business, then you start thinking, how many tools do I really need to have? Is this going to ROI, or can I get by with less and not justify the validity of the business with purchases? Because what justifies the validity of the business is money.
Yeah, so here's the thing. You got $22,000 worth in your box. You're making $78,000. You probably don't need any more for a while.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not going to make Mr. Snap-on very happy.
Yeah.
But my goal is not to make him happy. My goal is to make you happy.
Can he sell some back, you think?
No, but those guys are on a route, and so they'll swing by and see him every so often and sell him a new one.
We got a new thing. We got a new thing.
You got to have this thing.
You need this thing.
Yeah, and here's what's happening with that. And
look what you can potentially make with this.
Yeah, you can. There's certain tools that, a 70-year-old version of it will actually still work perfect.
Right.
Other tools need to be brand new.
Right.
And so, but you just have to be careful because that's the business that they're in, and they're very, very good at it.
Well, and I would be willing to bet there's an element of business analysis to this where you go, okay, they Snap-on tools salesman guy comes by and he's like, oh, we've got this new thing that does this new thing. And you go, I don't have a request for that. You know what I mean? Like the requests that I have are oil changes, the brakes are bad, I need new, rotors. Okay, you got the tools for that. Cool. Get the tools for the things you actually use, not the new widget that someone's trying to sell you, because you don't have people coming in with that. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, oftentimes that's very, very true. So be careful with that. That's all I'm warning you on, Jake. But I think you're right. You sell the house, you become debt-free. You sell the truck, you become debt-free. Get you a beater, finish your emergency fund up. Then save your down payment, and that's probably a year to a 2-year process for you right now from today. But during that 2 years, you're going to be so unbroke because you won't have any payments that it's going to be a wonderful place to be. And you're carrying more stress maybe even than you realize right now between the credit card, the tool debt, the truck, and the house. And when you step out of all of that and you're just a renter, for a couple of years, and you say, okay, by the time I'm 26, I'll be back into a house, and I'm paying a really good, strong down payment, no PMI, and I won't have any debt, and it's completely different decision-making than it is to doing it today.
Yeah.
And kind of what you're doing is you're cutting halfway through the thing, and I'm just saying cut all the way through it.
Yeah.
Cut all the way through it.
Yeah.
So good questions. Good question. Christy Wright, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. This is The Ramsey Show. Hey folks, I got a great option to help you pay for your education. The Army National Guard. The Army National Guard believes you are the next greatest generation because you have proven that even in adversity, that you have what it takes to succeed. That's why they offer benefits like tuition assistance, career training, and a paycheck to help you avoid debt. No matter what your goals are, the Army National Guard can help you get there. Visit nationalguard.com to find out more. Christy Wright, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Thank you for joining us, America. We're glad you're here. Nicole is with us in Jacksonville, Florida. Hi, Nicole. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you, Dave?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
Dave, I just want to thank you for your principles. My husband and I are on baby step 3. My husband's father died very unexpectedly 19 days ago.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Thank you. My mother-in-law is 63 years old. Her lifelong partner of 42 years died with no life insurance. She has car loan debt, consumer credit card debt, and a home loan. And her Social Security check is equal to her mortgage. So we are questioning you, sir, if this was your family, would you suggest us to have her file bankruptcy and stay in the home and have to, stretch it and barely make ends meet? Or would we sell the house? And my husband and I are in a position where we have a walkout basement, and we've given the opportunity for her to use those proceeds of selling the home and pay off her debt, and then use proceeds of the home to renovate our basement into a one-bedroom apartment where she can live with us, but not with us. So we were just curious to see what your opinion would be on everything stated.
Well, what's the equity in the house?
She's got about $150,000 equity.
Okay. And she has a car debt, and what other debt?
$6,700 on the car and roughly $33,000 in credit card debt that she can't make the minimum payments even on.
Right. Okay.
And she was working for her husband. He owned a very small plumbing company, and when she lost her spouse, she also lost her employment. Mm-hmm. He was a one-man show, so the business has been dissolved.
What was she doing? Just running the office? Just running the office?
Sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Oh, what a horrible thing for her. I'm so sorry.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
We're so grateful that we were following your plan and on baby step 3 that we could come in and help with his afterlife care. It was such a blessing to be in that position and not have to go into debt to do so.
Yeah, she's going to have a good pile of money even after she's debt free. The house is gone. She can't afford to keep everything. And no, she's not bankrupt. She has $150,000 worth of equity. She's not even close to bankrupt. And bankruptcy would cause her to lose the house to the bankruptcy. So no, we're not doing that. So she's got to sell the house. It's sad. Yeah. And that pays off the debt, and then she's got $100,000 plus in her hand, and she gets a job. Right?
She doesn't want to work. She's 63.
I'm sorry. She can work, and 63 is not old enough to retire when you're broke. She's hurting and she's grieving, and that makes sense, but. She's gonna need to do something for money, number one, but number two, to keep herself occupied. She's still young.
Right.
She doesn't need to sit on her butt from 63 to 93. That's not good for humans. We need to do something.
Absolutely.
And so, just to but right now she's just hurting. So I mean, we'll be gentle with her, but that's we're not doing that. So if it was my mom, I would not move her into the basement.
No,
because I don't think it's necessary. She's got $100,000, and when she starts working, she can get her a little rental apartment, set the $100,000 aside, and in a couple of years, start thinking about buying a home again.
Okay.
With $100 down, and it'll be a different price range home than she's in now, but without the credit card debt, without the car debt, with the pain and the tragedy in her rearview mirror, and she's back functioning again in a career. By 65, she easily could buy a house.
Nicole, have y'all talked to her about the basement plan, or has she asked to move in? Has that been a point of discussion yet?
Oh, it's definitely, we've got 1,000 square foot walkout basement underneath our house.
Yeah.
So, and it's unfinished. It's a dirt floor. So.
Yeah, she's not penniless. She doesn't need to live in a basement.
Well, even if we made it into a mother-in-law suite with her proceeds from the house.
I just wouldn't.
It goes back to what you say a lot of times, Dave. Would you do that if it wasn't your mother-in-law? Would you have someone just move into your basement and build it out with their money? You wouldn't. And she has the money.
We love her dearly. We think the world of her.
Sure. Listen, we're not putting her, if she was on the street and homeless, absolutely we would do this. But she's got $100,000 worth of options.
Okay.
I guess my question is, Nicole, is like, what is the why of her moving in with y'all? Is she unable to take care of herself?
She doesn't want to work, and this puts her up to where she
doesn't want to work. She has the old-fashioned mindset that renting is throwing money away. It's not the time to be buying right now. We all acknowledge that it's not smart to do right now.
Mm-hmm.
But just looking at rentals, she doesn't, it would be more than what her current mortgage is, and she doesn't want to have to dip into that nest egg every month just to cover the basics,
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, so it just made sense to, renovate the basement and, get her a nice one-bedroom studio apartment down there, and then when she, then she would own it. And then when she's elderly and, needs our help, we're right there.
She doesn't own it.
Well.
You own it.
Right.
And she's only 62 years old.
Yeah.
This doesn't play well for 30 years. And when she gets ready to move on with her life, now she's got her money stuck in your basement.
True.
I wouldn't make this decision today. I would go rent an apartment for 6 months after you sell the house and be debt free, stabilize. Let's get a better, brighter future picked out rather than I'm going to hide in the basement for 30 years.
Yeah. Okay.
That's mentally what she's doing. It's escape.
It'd be different if it was necessary, Nicole. That's where I go back to. It'd be different if it was necessary.
Agreed.
She needs your care for her health. She is unable to work.
I would never tell you to not take care of your mom.
But
Christy's right.
She has $100,000 of cash, and she's young. She can work. There's no actual need base for this decision.
Yeah, she's debt free.
You adore her, and she doesn't want to work. This is more of a choice than a need.
Rents a little apartment over by the ocean, over by the beach somewhere, and goes for long walks and starts to reset her mind and heal from this grieving, go through the grieving process, and just give her some time. And she needs to put her hand to something and go make some money so that she doesn't burn through the $100,000.
Right.
But right. I don't want her to rent for the rest of her life. I wouldn't suggest that. And let's say that she became ill or something and was unable to care for herself. Yeah, well, okay. Or after 6 months, if we're still thinking this way, if you all want to do it, it's not the end of the world. But the problem is it closes down her future. It narrows the focus on her future to where she's acting like she's 83, not 63.
Well, and it may be hard for her to find a job, and it might be hard for her to rent those things now that she doesn't want to do and has never done before. It's going to be a whole lot harder in 5 years after you guys have gotten all comfortable in the basement. She won't. She won't.
And
it's either
she
now
can't go buy something then because the money's in your basement.
Yeah.
So $30,000 of the $7. Now we got 70 left.
Yeah.
And now you feel bad because you got her money in your basement. And now you got to go sell your house to get her money out or something like that because she wants to move on with her life. But I think there's a second act here, a third act, an encore. I don't think that this is the final curtain for her. That's my point. And so we don't want to build something out here that acts like it's final curtain stuff. And that's what That's what you're doing. You're trapping her. So if you're going to do it, I'd wait 6 months. Let's rent for 6 months. Let's get some of the grieving behind us. You're going to have to sell the house. You got to sell the house, get debt free. But get debt free, go rent something, put the $100,000 in a CD for 6 months, sit on it, live on the Social Security check, begin to think about career, and then make this decision. And if you want to do it, I'm not going to be mad at you, but I wouldn't. I think it's narrowing her options too tightly. This is The Ramsey Show. In the lobby of Ramsey Solutions on the debt-free stage, Brian and Andrea are with us. Hey, guys, how are ya?
Doing great.
Well, how are you?
Better than I deserve. Where are you guys from?
Atmore, Alabama.
Atmore. Now, where's Atmore?
It's about an hour away from Mobile.
Oh, okay. All right. Wonderful. Well, thanks for being in Nashville to do your debt-free scream. How much have you paid off?
$53,800.
Good for you.
Awesome.
And how long did this take you?
24 months.
Yay. And your range of income during that time?
Starting at 50, now we're at 65.
Cool. What do y'all do for a living?
I'm an accountant.
And I'm a game attendant at Wind Creek Casino.
Wonderful. Good to have you guys. Well, way to go, guys. How long y'all been married?
8 years.
Okay. All right. What kind of debt was the $54,000?
It was my car, a mattress, our shed, his truck, and then we finally finished it off with the house.
You paid off the house and everything?
We did everything.
Wow.
Wow.
It's not much of a house, but it's all ours now.
It sure is.
It's paid for, by
That's
God.
right.
There you go.
It sure
What's
is.
the house worth?
Our guess is about $80,000. Like I said, it's not much, but it's ours.
How old are you two?
I'm 27.
And I'm 29.
I got to tell you, you're way ahead.
Yes, you are.
You don't need to apologize for that house. It's a paid-for dadgum house.
That's
That's
right.
awesome. I'm so proud of y'all.
Thank you.
Well done. Okay, so you're married 8 years, but something after 6 years, 2 years ago, changed.
Yeah, what happened?
What lit the fuse on this?
So I started it. I kind of, it was funny because there was nothing that really happened. There was no tragic moment. I just kind of just got tired of stressing about the credit card bills being due and all the other bills being due.
The accountant, huh?
What am I going to pay? What is he going to pay? Because we had separate bank accounts at the time.
No.
So a lot has changed since then. We combined incomes, combined bank accounts, and cut up the credit cards and did the whole shebang.
Wow. So how did you get connected to us?
Google. Nice old Google.
Okay, so that night you're doing the bills, you just got frustrated and Googled what?
Well, it was actually March 3rd, 2019, and I'll be honest, I don't pray too often, but I did pray. I said, God, I don't know what it is. I don't know what I need to do. I don't know what direction we need to take, but there's something that needs to happen with us financially. I need you to help guide me. And the next day, I found Dave Ramsey.
Wow.
So I can quite say that you and your entire team have been an answer prayer. Your team is just wonderful.
Wow.
Well, we're honored.
That's amazing.
We're honored. If God would use us, that makes us worth showing up.
It sure
Good
did.
for you guys.
Thank
Well
you.
done. Very well done. I'm so proud of you.
So y'all went from financing the shed, credit cards, putting everything on, payments,
when
to
you're
paying off the
financing
house.
the shed,
I know. I heard that.
you're
caught
financing
that.
everything.
I know. Well, but then they paid off their house. Like, tell me about we're putting everything on debt to all the way to paying off the house. Like, y'all didn't mess around. Y'all went all in.
Oh no, yeah, we did the debt snowball and started from smallest to largest, and then we were finally done with that. Where we're like, well, let's just go over the house. It's not much more, so let's just go ahead and finish it all off and be done with everything,
Look
and
at
just
you.
be completely debt free.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And
There we
I
go, guys.
also want to say that something that really has helped me personally is practicing minimalism. I know you had the minimalists on here every now and then.
Absolutely.
So that's something that I discovered a couple of years ago, and I took some time off of social media and took a little break, and I discovered minimalism, and it becomes less of a burden once you start selling things because you don't really have to. You really want to. So anyone that's never heard of minimalism, I would highly recommend looking into it. It's just
those guys are great guys.
They're
and
wonderful.
There's just something peaceful about that whole process. There's a contentment element.
There is.
The mental simplicity that gives you in life.
Yeah, you don't think of the effect that physical clutter has on your mental state, your emotional state, but it does. They're actually the guest of the Christy Wright show that aired this week, just yesterday. And just after talking to them when we recorded it, I went home and I was like, what can I cut out? What can I get rid of? It's so inspiring, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
amazing.
I told him I'm kind of a maximalist.
Yeah, I'm not surprised with that.
I have to, I think it's hard to hang out with those two and not go home and look at your closet
100%.
and go, half of this stuff needs to be thrown out.
100%.
You haven't worn that coat in 17 years. You probably ought to get rid of it.
You aren't going to wear it this week. No,
Yeah,
you don't
it's
need it just in
not
case.
Gonna show up. Yeah, it's borderline hoarding that we all do. It really is.
true.
Well, I'm proud of you guys.
Way to go, y'all.
So
Way to go.
what do you tell people the key to getting out of debt is? I mean, you're not even 30. You got a paid-for house.
Communication.
Big factor.
The cash envelopes, really doing the cash, because our first trip to Sam's, I got the necessities like the frozen chicken breast that you were talking about earlier. I got all those necessities out of the way, and I wanted a little bit of extras. And for the first time, that humility sank in once I had to take something off of the register, so put it back. Yeah, once that actually happened, that just hurt my pride a little bit, but it all worked out.
Yeah, it turns out that nobody at Sam's is going to run home and go, that woman had to put stuff back. You wouldn't believe it.
Nobody cares.
Nobody gives a rip. Nobody gives a rip.
Except
As a matter
for
of fact,
me.
most of us have been there.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's one person on the planet that cares about that, and it's you.
That's it.
Yeah, that's amazing. But it is embarrassing.
It's a moment.
I remember that feeling.
And it's one thing talking about it, but then actually going through it, it just hurts. But it's so worth it once you actually switch over to the cash envelopes.
Yeah.
Well, and it's short term. It's short term that you're making those that level of sacrifice to real. You know what I mean? And so then now it's like you have more money because all that money's not going to debt.
Oh yeah, it's not forever. And I also want to say, I'll let him talk eventually, maybe. I want to say that no matter your income and no matter what level of ratio from shovel to income, anything you set your mind to, you can accomplish it. Because I was thinking, we don't make that much. We're not going to have this paid off in a couple of years. I would never thought that would happen. I was that person, and anyone that's listening, you can do it. It is possible. Just you have to stick with it. And
So, Brian, did
suck
she
it up.
sell all your stuff?
Yeah.
Not all of it. Not all of it. But
just most of it.
Yeah, stuff I didn't need.
Okay.
There you go.
All right.
There
that's
you go.
Fun. That's fun. So very, very well done. So you Googled and you found the podcast, or you found what with us?
YouTube.
YouTube.
I started watching the YouTube videos, and I learned everything from that. And I looked into FPU, but I was like, I don't even want to spend the money, and all the information's on YouTube for free, so I just did that instead. And I wanted to lead an FPU class. I attempted to. I signed up for it. A couple people came in. They unfortunately wouldn't. They couldn't stick with it. Some things happened in their life, which is fine. But I would love to teach it. I tried to teach an FPU class. So hopefully someone will hear this and want to do a class.
There you go.
I would love to.
Well, that'd be fun. We'd love to have you coordinate one. So well done, you guys.
How does it feel? How does it feel to get to keep your money now?
It feels amazing.
Yeah?
Feels incredible.
So who were your biggest cheerleaders?
Well, we have my grandparents over here today with us. They were throughout the entire process. They were just cheering us on the entire time.
Love it.
They've always been frugal their entire lives, so the fact that we were being
Grandpa,
so cheap, they were big
power.
fans.
Go, baby, go.
My mom, she tried to do the cash envelope many years ago, a long time ago. But she's wonderful too. She was a big cheerleader throughout all.
So they made the road trip up here with you to Nashville, get to see Nashville, and get to throw their shoulders back, stick out their chest, and be proud of you two.
They wanted to be here with us.
Amen. Right. Amen. Nothing better than that.
And you had
and I had a buddy of mine at work who was also very supportive of it. I wasn't all in at first. Takes me a minute. I'm open-minded, but it takes me a minute to actually get with the program. But
sure.
I started talking to a buddy of mine named Danny at work. He actually was doing this, and he explained to me that it's really worth it to do all this, and it's going to be just absolutely amazing in the end when we were finished.
So was he right?
He was definitely
There
right.
you go.
All right, way to go, Danny.
There you go. That's awesome.
Well done. Well, we got a copy of The Legacy Journey because that's the next chapter in your all story. Legacy is changed. Well done. You're young and you got a paid-for freaking house. It's awesome. You guys are amazing. Rockstar heroes, man.
Thank you.
50 and a copy of the Total Money Makeover for you to give away to somebody and help. You can be Danny to somebody. You can give them a Total Money Makeover and encourage them, get them going, and that's what it's for. So very, very cool. Brian and Andrea from Alabama, $54,000 paid off in 24 months, making 50 to 65. Count it down. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
3, 2, 1. We're debt free.
Love it.
That's awesome.
That's how it's
That's
done.
Cool. Really
Why
cool.
I come down here. You and me, we're an answer to prayer.
Hey, how about that?
I like it. I like it. Chrissy Wright, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Debbie is in Boise, Idaho. Hi, Debbie. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hi. Thank you for taking my call.
Sure. What's up?
So I've got a few questions. Well, one is I've tried your program for probably 5 or 6 years now, trying to get my husband on board. I can't get him to look at a budget or even sit down and look at the bills. He's a spender. He's the free spirit, and I'm the nerd. So that's the first thing. So I've done things like refinanced the house, paid off, saved money, and paid off credit cards, and gotten rid of them all except for a couple, and then he's created more. So I feel like I'm just going backwards.
How old is he?
He's going to be 60, and I'm 55.
How long y'all been married?
24 years.
You know, I honestly expected you to say he was 26 because he's acting like a child.
Well, I know, and it's almost caused a divorce at one point.
I can imagine.
He came home with a $50,000 boat that he didn't consult with me.
A $50,000 boat that he did not consult you on?
Yep, we paid for it with our credit. Everything's credit. And that's what's concerning me is he's self-employed, and his income, he's not as physical as he used to be. So our income is decreasing. So I'm stressed trying to get rid of the bills because I know we're getting older, and I'm just not able to get rid of them when I turn around and he creates another card. I'll pay one off and he'll create another.
Debbie, this is not a money problem. This is a marriage problem, a big marriage problem. The fact that he's not consulting with you, listening to you, considering what's important to you, he does not value you by his actions right now, and that is a major problem.
Yeah.
This is not just about you're trying to pay off bills. Go ahead.
At this point,
honey, you can't dig out the hole. I mean, you can't fill up the hole faster than he can dig it out.
No.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter how quick you pay it off if he continues to do this. And the level of disrespect you must feel when he does. It's not just about the spending, man. God, the level of disrespect that he's showing you.
I've even gone so far as to not pay some bills so that he couldn't get more credit on certain bills because I was trying to pay off other bills. Like if
you're working real hard not to address the real issue, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so. Okay.
Do you guys happen to attend a church?
I'm trying to, but I can't get him on board with that either.
Yeah, okay.
So
here's what you need to do, hon. Okay, this is a lot more than Christy and I can fix in a radio call. This is 24 years of misbehavior. And he's your husband. I'm his age. He's misbehaving. If one of my friends was treating his wife this way, I would be up in his grill. If one of my closest buddies, and I got about 10 or 15 guys I run with pretty tight, and if one of those guys was acting, the reason I run tight with them is they don't treat their wives this way. And I can tell you this, if I treated Sharon Ramsey this way, I'd have to be dealing with one mad hillbilly woman after about the first round. It wouldn't have lasted 24 years. It lasted 24 minutes.
Right. And I've tried things,
Do you work, Debbie?
I do. Matter of fact, he's self-employed, and I'm self-employed realtor. We just sold our business of 12 years and moved to a different state and bought it, sold our house that was worth more and bought it to reduce that.
Okay, let me cycle back. The reason I was asking if you were in church was not a spiritual statement. I'm trying to find somewhere you can get community to get somebody to talk with him. But so what you need to do is you need to find a good faith-based marriage counselor as soon as possible. Okay. You're 20 years late coming to that meeting.
Right.
He's not going to do that either, but you go anyway. Because you need someone long form, not a radio answer, to begin to help you formulate conversations with him, because you're either going to live a miserable, broke, stress-filled life for the next 24 years, or you're going to force his hand on this. He's going to change or it's going to end. One of the two things is going to happen here. Yeah. And the problem is you're really late, and it's going to be very hard to get him to hear, because he's never had to hear. You've cried wolf so many times. You've dug him out so many times. I don't know if he's going to hear it or not. But you need to get someone to teach you how crazy you're being treated. This is cray-cray. It's wrong.
Yeah, no, and the reason I asked if she worked, because I thought, well, let me dig into this. Is there, does he think because he makes the money that he can do whatever? It doesn't matter why, but you have to address the real issue. This is not just a financial issue. This is a partnership. This is a lack of value. This is a lack of communication. Y'all are not a marriage. You're not a partnership. You're not, the things that make a marriage, y'all don't have. Trust, communication, mutual respect. You don't have those things. You may have a marriage certificate, but you don't have those things. And so a counselor can help you figure out what this looks like for you, what actions you can take.
Begin to speak to him in a way that maybe he can hear you for the first time, and give your marriage a shot, because this is not going in a good direction, hon.
And I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Sorry you're dealing with it.
Yeah.
It honestly makes me mad.
There is not a financial technique in the world that will fix this situation.
No.
Not one. Andreas is with us in Santa Fe, New Mexico. Hey, Andreas, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
I was looking for some career advice. Right now, I'm a livestock manager on a ranch, and I've come across an opportunity to move to a different position on a different outfit. It's a lesser paying job with a lesser title, but a better culture, and I believe it would bring me a better home life. As I have a 3-year-old boy, and I'm engaged to get married, and I just wondering what your thoughts were on that.
How much less?
Well, right now I make $36,000 in a salary, and then I usually get about $9,000 in tips and bonuses. And this new job would pay $28,800 in salary, but they offer a 10% match on the 401k and health insurance for the whole family.
Okay. And what is the thing that's better for your 3-year-old? The health insurance?
No, right now, my fiance, she travels back and forth 2.5 hours every week So she spends 3 days, 2.5 hours away, her and my
So you
son,
wouldn't be
and then-
separated from your family?
Correct.
Okay. All right, that's a good start. And you get married, and she makes what?
She makes right around $20,000.
Okay. So you're going to have a $46,000, $48,000 household income. And I think that's a good step one. I would take it. But I wouldn't want you to be doing that 10 years from now.
Right.
We need a path for growth.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
In your income and in your career.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Maybe
And that's
something
the main
self-employed,
reason that
Christy.
I'm-
Yeah, and even for
And
your
I
own sense
am-
of dignity and pride of the fact that you're making progress. So you don't feel like you've taken a step backwards and you've stayed there, taken a step backwards so that you can take a step forward. So just don't look at this as like we've arrived at this. This is a strategic move because of the reasons you've outlined, but you're going to continue to work on making more, figuring out what that path looks
What's
like
the wedding
for you.
date, Andres?
I'm sorry?
What's your wedding date?
We don't have one yet.
You do now, as soon as you move.
Okay.
Marry this girl. You had a baby with her. Marry her. Start your life. You want to get your family all together? Let's get everything right there at home, and then that sets you up for both of you to succeed going into the future. Christy Goodhour, James, and Kelly. This is The Ramsey Show.
Hey guys, this is James, senior producer for The Ramsey Show. Did you know over 18 million people listen to The Ramsey Show every week? And a lot of those people listen on one of our 600 plus radio stations across the country. To find a station near you, head to theramseyshow.com.
This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Dollar Car Rental Studios, it's The Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. I'm Dave Ramsey, your host. Christy Wright is my co-host today, Ramsey personality, #1 best-selling author of the book Business Boutique. Thank you for joining us, America. We're glad you're here. The phone number is 888-825-5225. Kristen starts off this hour in Eugene, Oregon. Hi, Kristen. How are you?
Good, Dave. How are you today?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
Great. Thank you for taking my call. I wanted to call. My husband passed away suddenly about 8 weeks ago.
Oh, my.
And so
What happened?
I am trying. He died of COVID complications.
Oh, my. I'm so
And-
sorry. How old was he?
He was 58.
Oh, my. I'm so sorry. Okay.
Thank you.
How can we help?
He did most of the finances for our family, for me and him. Our children are 29, 26, and 21, so they're grown and out of the house. I knew we did the finances together. We did a budget every 2 weeks or every month, and then every time we got paid, divvied the money up into envelopes and did that. But we did have a collection account from 2009 because he was diagnosed with leukemia back in 2005. At the time, we didn't have insurance, so all of his chemotherapy treatment ended up being turned over to collections because the hospital would only carry balances for 6 months and then turn people over to collections. With that being said, we started at about $125,000, and now we are down to, I guess I am down to $29,500. And we were just about ready to possibly make an offer to them and see if they would settle that out with us. And now that he's gone, they're kind of pressuring me. They have a lien on a house that we have, and I just was hoping to get your opinion on maybe trying to settle that out with them. I just need to get that over my head, gone.
Is this
So
one
we're
singular bill?
Yes, it's one singular bill.
There's $29,500 from the old cancer treatments back in the early 2000s.
Late 2000s, yes.
And they sued you and took a lien against the house.
Yes, they did.
Okay. And what is it, the hospital?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. It was originally the hospital, and now it's at a collection agency.
Well, it's at a law firm now. Okay. Because they've sued you. It's gone past collection agency. Collection agency may have a law firm in-house, but they're...
Okay.
Okay. And so do you have money?
I have some life insurance that I could use.
How much? How much?
About $100,000.
Okay, good.
I couldn't get he never could have a lot of life insurance.
What other debt do you have?
I have a car loan that is about $3,000, and I have a travel trailer that's about $2,400.
Are you going to keep it?
The travel trailer I am for now.
Okay.
I'm just not ready to let it go right now.
The house that has a lien on it, what is it worth?
It's worth about $425,000.
And is it paid off?
We owe about $144,000 on it.
But that's not the home you live in.
No, we moved for his job, and so we kept that home.
And it's rented.
Currently, it's rented. Yes.
Okay. All right.
So currently, I rent.
Right.
I don't own a home that I live in.
Okay. Well, you got a lot on your plate for a really fresh, recent tragedy. Right. And so what I always try to do is do as few moves as I can this close to the loss, because it's hard to think clear this close to the loss. Where is the other house?
It's in Southern Oregon. It's not in the same town I live in.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. So what I would do is call... do you have a law firm that has the lien? You have records of a law firm that did the lawsuit?
I'm probably. I'll have to look back through the records.
I would rather you call the law firm than the collection agency, because the collection agency is somebody who's been working there about 2 weeks, and they sit in a cubicle, and they have zero power and 0 cents in most cases.
Okay.
Sometimes you can get somebody, but it's very rare. So what I'm trying to do is get to somebody that's allowed to make decisions. And if you can even get a good paralegal at the law firm, you got a better chance than you do a collector in a cube. So I'd get them on the phone and say, I'm willing to settle this for a lump sum today. If you make me a deal, what will you make me? It should be 50 cents.
Okay.
15 grand ought to settle this. They may start a little higher, but no matter what they say, go, oh my gosh, you're kidding. I thought it'd be better than that.
Okay.
Act surprised about how horrible their offer is, no matter how good it is.
Okay.
Okay? Because for them, this is a game. For you, this is your life.
Exactly. Yeah.
And so mess with them, kiddo. Have you got enough stuff inside of you right now with all this pain to do that?
I think so. I think so. It's just tough. I mean, I've lost about 3/4 of my income, you know, losing my husband, and I'm trying to make it all work.
Yeah. So what I'm going to do is you call up and they say, okay, we'll take $10,000. Go, oh my gosh, I so thought it was going to be better than that. Can you not do any better?
Okay.
And just see what they say. And when they say 7, say, okay, I guess. But if they say 15, say the same thing, and just go at them a couple times in one conversation. Now, in writing. They have to send you an email or a certified letter or something in writing saying they will accept that amount as settlement in full, and then you wire money to them. No electronic access to your checking account under any circumstances, and no deal until it's in writing. If it's not in writing, it didn't happen.
Okay.
They lie.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay? So... if you have more than one conversation and this starts to drain you, hire an attorney. Pay somebody $1,000 to go do this for you. It'll be worth it.
Okay.
because you may not have I'm not sure I'd have the chops, and I do this all the time.
Right.
And I'm not sure if Sharon was gone, I'd have the chops to go fight it 8 weeks later. Okay, so don't let yourself get pinned in the corner because of the situation you're in emotionally. But take one run at it. And let me just tell you, I think a year from now that house is sold, and you're buying a house with the equity from that, and you're setting yourself up in a whole different life that's a lot more conservative than the one you're in. I do not want you to keep that house long term, but you don't have to be an emergency to sell it immediately. What makes our show unique is that we genuinely care about our listeners. We're intentional about choosing the best advertisers to recommend. Blinds.com is no exception. They offer high-quality window treatments at unbelievable prices, and they make it simple to shop blinds, shades, and interior shutters with easy online ordering, free shipping, and a guaranteed perfect fit. Go to Blinds.com and take advantage of this week's special savings. According to the United States Census Bureau, nearly 1 in 10 people relocated last year, and that was 2020. That means this year there's a good chance you or someone you know is planning a big move. Now, I know it feels like there's 1,000 unknowns that you're juggling when you're relocating, but you cannot lose focus of one of the most important personal and financial factors in your move, your housing. I recommend hiring a quality real estate agent like one of our endorsed local providers or ELPs to help you find the right home in your new city. ELPs are top performing experts in their local market and have years of experience helping folks just like you make successful moves. It's easy to get instantly connected with an endorsed local provider agent. Just go to RamseySolutions.com/agent to talk with a Ramsey trusted agent about how they can help you with your relocation. RamseySolutions.com/agent. They're Ramsey trusted. Blinds.com is our question of the day. They have a 100% satisfaction guarantee. Means even if you mismeasure, you pick the wrong color, they'll remake your window blinds for free. You get free samples, free shipping, and with the new promos they run every month, you'll save even more. Use the promo code Ramsey to get the best deal.
Today's question comes from Jackson in Utah. I'm currently working in sales for a software company, but I want to start my own software business. I'm debt-free, other than my mortgage, $245,000. Should I pay off my house before starting my own company, or go for it once I have enough cash to build the product and start selling it? You just cash flow it, and you can do that now. You know, baby step 6 is number 6 for a reason. And Dave, I work with a lot of people that start businesses that don't need a lot of upfront costs. But if you can cash flow that, you can do that now. Unless I'm missing something.
I think you start your own software business. If you can start it on the side while working for the current company without any ethical problems or conflicts with customers or anything like that, then I would. I would get it going and get the product built, and you can start selling it on the side. You don't have to just quit your job to go do that. As a matter of fact, I wouldn't.
Right, yeah. And I would say, especially with something like software, start out with your 1.0 version. This doesn't have to be the Cadillac version where you save up a ton of money, prove your idea and your concept, start it on the side with the 1.0 version. You can improve and iterate over time, and that will help you get it to market faster and get feedback faster.
Yeah, absolutely. And because you're going to iterate anyway. Whatever you put out there is going to change. You can count on it. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Josh is in Appleton, Wisconsin. Hey, Josh, how are you?
I'm doing fabulous, sir. How about yourself?
Better than I deserve. How can Christy and I help?
First of all, thank you for taking my call, both of you.
Sure.
My question is about my 18-year-old son, just graduated. He's gone through a youth apprenticeship program and showing up for work every day, all that good stuff. The company he's working for offered a contract to reimburse for technical college in a trade in machining. But there's not, and he's required to work for 3 years. Otherwise, if he quits within that 3 years, says this isn't for me or whatever, he has to reimburse them.
Mm-hmm.
So my question is, he loves working for them. They've treated him very well. I like the company. We met with the owner a couple nights ago, and everything looks right. But there isn't a dollar amount to, when you're done with the apprenticeship program, this is what you're going to make. He told us this is what he's going to make and said, I guarantee it, and he said it twice. What direction do I go with that?
I'm sorry, what was I thought you said you didn't know. So you do know what he's going to make?
In a handshake, basically.
Oh, okay.
But not on paper. It's not in the paperwork.
Okay.
It's not in the contract.
Ask him to put it in the offer letter.
Okay.
When we hire someone here, we give them an offer letter that states their start date, what they're going to make, what their benefits are, so they know what they're signing up for, and it's us putting it in writing so they know what they're getting when they come to work here. 16 new people came to work here on Monday. All of them did so several weeks after receiving their offer letter. And it sounds like this guy is a former machinist himself that runs a small business.
Yes, it's a smaller company.
Yeah, he's just not. He's not uber. He's not super. He's not super sophisticated in his HR. That's all. He's probably a great guy. And so what I would do is just say, since he's going to owe you the money back on this handshake, you're going to want to put that in writing in the form of a letter. So just send him a letter saying how much he'll make after the apprenticeship, what you told us in the meeting, and go ahead and put in the letter that if he doesn't work 3 years, that he's going to have to reimburse the technical college. And, of course, you're going to look at your costs on the technical college, and your son's going to know he's on the hook for that.
Right. And he could cash flow it right now on his own. He's been working and saving everything.
Well, and so he could write a check if he had to quit or got fired or something.
Right. But he really likes the place.
I know. But I'm just saying, how's your son going to get pinched on this? One would be if he didn't get what was promised on the income, or two would be if there's some kind of sideways thing on the reimbursement on the college. And so all you got to do is just put both those things in a letter to your son from the owner, and then you know you've got something you can bring back. It's probably not a binding contract. That's not what I'm asking for if I'm you. But it's a point of clarification, and it's in writing in case people forget.
We're all on the same
I got to
page.
tell you, I put stuff down in letters all the time to people, what I've promised them, so that I have a copy of it so I can remember what I said, because I got a couple deals in the air.
Yeah.
Right. And it looks like he's going to keep growing. The business looks really strong.
Yeah, you'd go with this. I mean, you hearing red flags, Christy?
No, yeah, it's a matter of just clarifying. It's just a good old boy running a business, and he thought the handshake was clear, and you're like, yeah, it is clear. Let's also put it on paper so we can remember it. That's all it is. It's just an extra step for you to feel good about it.
Disrespect,
No,
I say, listen, it's not an act of disrespect. Would you mind, just for our sake, for our peace of mind, giving him an offer letter of what you're offering him in income and in tuition reimbursement and what his responsibility is? And you can kind of wink at the old guy and go, and so this is also for him to remember he owes you that money if he leaves. I want him to understand he's getting on the hook here. And this is you like telling him how to coach your son up, kind of thing.
Yep.
And that way it's not offensive to him.
Right.
You're just saying, hey, put it in an offer letter. That way I can make this 18-year-old knucklehead stay on track. I'll help you with him, and then we all know what we said, and it's real easy. And it's not that we're questioning your word at all.
Yeah.
So, and he'll do that. It's a simple letter. Have your assistant write out a quick letter and send it to us. Just send him an offer letter. Just call it an offer letter because that's really what it is in HR terms. And but it's you're wise to clarify it and get it in writing, mainly because people get busy and they forget. Most people aren't dishonest, but sometimes they get busy and they forget. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Christy is talking these days and did at Entree Leadership in depth about balance in our lives, about spending our time as carefully as we spend our money. And Christy and her team have developed the 24-hour challenge. They want to give you 24 hours of your week back by using their new free Time Finder. If you want to get the free Time Finder to check on your time like we check on your money, text Time Finder to 33444. Text Time Finder to 33444. In the lobby of Ramsey Solutions on the debt-free stage, Drew and Erica are with us. Hey, guys, how are you?
Hey, we're good.
Doing good.
Welcome, and where do you guys live?
We're in Hebron, Idaho.
Oh, wow. Did you drive or fly to Tennessee?
No, we flew.
Good. I feel better about you already.
Yes.
That's a long way. Okay, cool, man. So how much debt did you guys pay off?
We paid off $400,000.
Whoa. Nice. And how long did this take?
Just over 4 years.
Wow. And your range of income during that time?
140 to 160.
Okay. Did you sell something or?
No.
No.
We just
You
scrambled.
You just
hard.
been on beans and rice and put $100,000 a year on this.
Yes.
What kind of debt
Wow.
was it?
It was $40,000 of personal, and it was about $360,000 of business debt.
Oh wow. Okay. So now your business is paid for.
Paid for.
And sure is a little bit more profit after that. Isn't it?
Yeah, we're actually able to keep something, so that's nice.
There you go. What a concept.
We made a lot of money, and we've lived on $50,000. So
yeah. What kind of business?
it's CNC machine shop.
Oh, good. Cool. And what do you do, Erica?
I'm a stay-at-home mom, but I recently finished your Financial Coach Master Training Program, and so I'm in the process of building my financial coaching business.
Good.
Awesome. Yeah.
Well
wow,
done.
look at you guys.
Cool.
Very fun. Well, congratulations. So tell us about your journey. What happened 4 years ago that put you on this process?
Well, it actually started about 10 years ago. Drew was working at a different machine shop, and he had an idea of how to build some parts better than they were doing. So he approached the boss and contracted the work out. So we bought a machine and put it in our garage, but we had to borrow money from a family member to do that. And the payment was really big, almost as big as our mortgage, and we got kind of worried that we weren't going to be able to make the payment. So we started putting our living expenses on credit cards.
Uh-oh.
And we paid the machine off on time and never missed a payment, but we got into some really bad habits of just living in excess of what we made every year, I guess. And so Drew was kind of frustrated with me. I was bouncing checks, and the credit card companies kept calling me asking, why aren't you making your payments? You know, and I could only pay what I could. So he decided that he was going to take over the finances, and he didn't do any better than I did. He was busy, and
I didn't realize how frustrating it was.
Yeah,
It was a lot of work.
After that, we had the genius idea to do a debt consolidation loan. And only one bank, we went to several banks, and one bank said yes to us. And we walked out of there with the loan and said, oh, we're never going to do that again. And about 2 or 3 months later, we'd racked up $24,000 more of credit card debt.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah. So we were kind of disasters. So you found.
Oh yeah. So when the frustration got bad enough and we realized what we'd done, I had this random memory from about 25 years ago. I remember riding in a car with my brother and my dad. My brother was telling my dad about this guy that he'd heard on the radio that basically was teaching about money and said something to the effect of, you've got to deliver pizzas until you save 6 months worth of income. That's all I can remember. But I did remember your name. And so when I went to Google, I found the radio show, the podcast, and started listening every day.
Wow.
Yeah. And then he told me about it, and I told him, I said, I'm totally on board with getting out of debt. I want to start investing, but everybody has a car payment and everybody has a house payment. So I'll do the other stuff, but I'm not doing the car payment and house payment. And he was really patient with me. He just said, okay. And at the time I really, really wanted a Yukon. And so I thought, if we just pay off the debt, then I can go get a payment for a Yukon. And he just kept saying, okay, that's fine. But for our anniversary, he had bought tickets to Celine Dion in Vegas. It's about a 10-hour car ride from where we live. And I didn't realize this at the time, but he had planned to trap me in the car and make me listen to the Total Money Makeover for 10 hours.
Well played, Drew.
Yeah.
Well played.
Thank you.
Well played.
But once
Celine Dion is the bait.
This is the bait to lure you
Dave
in.
is the tiger.
I'm going to lure you in with this chick concert and then teach you about money on the way.
Exactly. But not too long into
I don't know
it.
if Celine would appreciate this or not.
Yeah, not too far into the trip, I realized that following the plan completely is what we needed to do. And
As soon as you said the line in the book, what is it? If you paid yourself a car payment for 30 years, you'd have $5 million. Hope you liked your car.
Wow.
Yeah.
She stopped and turned and said, "Oh crap, I don't get a Yukon."
Yeah. So what you're saying is.
So what you're saying is.
Yeah.
The logic
So
was
after that, we were pretty much on board. We were just Gazelle intense.
Yeah. For
Cool.
4 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes. That's impressive, y'all.
Very good. And so basically what ended up happening was you rolled all this consumer debt over into the business. Almost all of it.
Well, I
$360,000 on business, you said, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, what happened is I had rented some machine time and subcontracted some work through a business, and that guy actually passed away. So I had to scramble to get some machines and kind of build a little shop in the backyard. So I either was going to close the business and get a job or do what I did, so I doubled down.
Yeah. Wow. Way to go, guys.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Just a lot of work, huh?
Yeah.
That's all it was.
You were working a bazillion hours a week.
Yeah.
Just take all you can get and plow through, and then you're done. Was it worth it?
Oh, yeah.
100%.
Because you're done now.
Yeah.
You gotta
How
feel
does it
like
feel?
you gotta feel like you lost 300 pounds.
We've listened to a lot of debt-free screams, and nothing that anyone can say relays the feeling of freedom.
Wow.
Yeah,
I see it.
Drew works 16, 18-hour days. He started sleeping in the shop, and he'd take my couch cushions and lay on the shop floor with him. And finally, I bought him a cot. I said, at least if you're going to do this, give me back my couch cushions and be comfortable.
I want you to be comfortable a little. Mostly, I want my couch back.
Yeah, but he puts in a lot of hours, and so.
Wow.
Y'all are
and
amazing.
she's kind of been a single mother.
Yeah.
She took care of everything else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had to start Googling how to do stuff because he didn't have the time to do stuff. So something would happen, and I thought, well, I don't know how to do it. So YouTube or Google and just make it happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now you're free, though.
Yeah.
I'm so proud of y'all.
Yeah.
You're an incredible couple.
Thank you.
You guys are heroes. You took control of your life. Well done. Very well done. And you work like maniacs. I mean, and you work like no one else. Later, you get to work like no one else. Now you can do whatever you want to do. I mean,
That's
you
right.
can play this however you want to play it. Yep. And you brought the guys with you. They got 3
Yes.
sons, right? And their names and ages?
This is Brooks. He's 12.
Mm-hmm.
Jace is 9.
Mhm.
And Dax is 6.
All right.
Awesome.
Very cool. Good looking guys.
Yes.
Well, we've got a copy of the Legacy Journey for you. That's definitely something you've done for those 3 young men. You've changed their legacy. You're leaving a legacy. Very well done. And a copy of the Total Money Makeover. And as a coach, you can give that to somebody or a friend or whoever and pay it forward and wake somebody up. Somebody Give somebody the hint that you use Celine Dion as bait to trap them in the car with Dave for 10 hours. Oh my gosh, that's just cruel.
That's a new one. That's a first.
Cruel and unusual punishment. That's what I'm saying. All right, Drew, Erica, Brooks, Jason, Dax, $400,000 paid off in 4 years, making 140 to 160. Count it down. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
3, 2, 1.
We're debt-free! Yeah! Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo! I love it. Well done. I'll tell you what, when you work 16, 18-hour days for 3 years, it is emotional.
You see it in his face. I wish people, that are just listening could see it. It's like, oh, you feel that in your heart, the freedom that they feel.
Yeah, you just see the release.
Yes. Yeah.
It's, man. And the other thing about that situation is, once you paid that kind of price to get out, you'll never go back.
That's right.
You
That's
will
right.
never go back.
Nope.
No, not even close.
Not for any reason.
There's something about something that's that hard that it brands it in your spirit.
Yeah.
And it's like, no!
It's this visceral response to it. Yeah.
The idea of getting a car payment's enough to make you throw up when you've acted like that.
Yeah.
Where other people are like, well, maybe someday I might. You know, I don't know. But they'll never go back. You don't even need to ask them the question. Will you ever go back? No! That's it. And not a chance. Not once you're free.
Right.
Not once you pay a price like that to get free. Well done, you guys. Very well done. This is The Ramsey Show. Our scripture of the day, Psalm 37, 3 and 4. Trust in the Lord and do good. Dwell in the land and enjoy safe pasture. Take delight in the Lord, and he will give you the desires of your heart. Jim Rohn said, you cannot change your destination overnight, but you can change your direction overnight. Kyle is with us in Santa Rosa, California. Hey, Kyle, how are you?
Mr. Ramsey, it's an honor to talk to you, sir.
You too, sir. What's up?
Okay, so quick question. I am a big listener. A friend of mine who is also a listener recommended something to me. I wanted to run it by you. I have a pickup truck that is it's a 2006 Duramax diesel. He is suggesting, with the high market value of used cars right now, to sell it, to put it towards and potentially pay off my debt.
What's the truck worth?
Blue Book value has it at about 14.
How much debt do you have?
20 grand.
How old are you?
I'm 34. Or I'll be 34 next week.
What do you make?
With my wife and I, we grossed about 145 last year.
Is this your daily driver truck, or is it a third vehicle or extra vehicle?
Well, my wife has a car, with our family car with a new baby that we just had, and then I have my truck.
Okay.
So I would end up selling it to get a hoopty, as you like to call it.
Yeah.
To be my driver.
Yeah. Do you like the truck?
I do like the truck. And that's what my buddy was saying, is that he was saying to, get rid of the truck. It's just a truck. Put it towards your debt. work toward your house.
Well, if it was 44,000, maybe, but it's only a $14,000 truck. It's not. It doesn't fix the problem, and it's not that big a percentage of 145,000. If you like it, I would keep it and get your butt on a budget and get this 20 grand in debt paid off and keep your truck.
It's just a faster way for you to jumpstart your debt paying off, but you can, on that income, you can do this without selling it.
I would not sell it. Instead, I would roll up my sleeves and get my household on a tight budget, everybody in the house, and let's get this $20,000 paid off. I don't know, you make 145, let's do it in 5 months.
Okay.
$4,000 a month.
You can do that on that income, and you get to keep your truck. It's a little bit slower than you doing it next week.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you sell the truck, you still got $6,000 in debt. It's still going to take you 2 more months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the difference is a hoopty for saving you 3 months. It's not. And then I wouldn't do it. Then you got to turn around and move back up out of hoopty into a better car.
Yeah.
Right.
And so.
I guess I was just thinking. The only reason I was thinking about it is because of like I said, the demand for used vehicles today.
Yeah, but so what? I mean, again, if it was a $54,000 truck, I'd sell it in a heartbeat on you.
Sure.
But it's not that big a percentage of the problem or of your income.
Uh-huh.
So it doesn't move the needle enough for the hassle, is my point.
Got it.
If you hate the truck anyway, then yeah, let's dump it while the market's high and get you something else. But that's not the problem. You don't owe 14 on it, right?
No, I don't owe anything on it.
Yeah, your only debt is $20,000 other than your home.
Yeah, we don't own our home, so we don't even have that.
Okay. All right. Hey, hold on. I'm going to have Kelly sign you guys up for a year in Ramsey Plus and put you into Financial Peace University and get you onto Every Dollar Premium budgeting app. And so we're going to show you how to budget and how to handle your money and how to work your way through this debt. And you're going to be able to see after you go through Financial Peace University with your wife, you guys are going to be able to see if you'll dial into this. I'll give it to you free for a year if you'll dial into it. But you got to go do it, and then you got to call me back and tell me you're debt free. But you're going to be able to see what Christy and I are seeing because we've looked at this for years, decades. And so we can see instantly that, yeah, you need to just pay off this debt. But if you're going to screw around and take 4 years to get out of debt or something with $20,000, then you got other problems that are not that the truck doesn't solve.
Yeah, and especially on that income. Like, this is very doable on that income. If you're calling in with a $30,000 income, that's different, but you can do this.
John's in Boston. Hey, John, how are you?
Hi, Dave. I'm great. How are you?
Better than I deserve. How can we help?
Great. Well, thanks for taking my call. I've been listening for years, and you're actually one of the reasons I wanted to become a finance major in college. So thanks for the inspiration. I really appreciate it.
Honored. Thank you.
Thank you. My question is, what does opportunity look like? I just graduated college. I worked very hard to graduate debt-free and with a good chunk of change in the banks. And while I'm looking for a job, I'm also looking for opportunity. I think the economy is poised in a great position right now. Is it intuition? Is it being extremely organized? Is it networking? Like, how do you just put all the pieces together and make stuff happen?
What is it you're looking for?
Well, I guess I'm looking for something to focus all my passion and energy towards, whether it be a job or an opportunity to start my own thing. I'm just
what do you want to
not
do?
Really too sure.
I mean, when you just think about that really simple question, what do you want to do? What do you see yourself doing?
I love helping people with their finances. I love learning about financial literacy and personal finance, and so that's definitely one of my big passions. I also really like real estate, but I'm not too sure exactly what.
Oh, you just graduated in your senior year. I'm sure in classes you talked about all the different ways to use that degree. Were there any that jumped out to you more than others? Because there's a lot of ways to use that degree.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I guess there were a lot more things that jumped out at me that I knew I didn't want to do than things that I actually did want to do. Studying finance was more of institutional and corporate finance, and I'm not sure if I particularly like that side of finance. I'm more of a people person and like talking with people and building relationships and things like that. So I guess just some wisdom or guidance into how to kind of enter that realm of finance and enter that world.
Why don't you click on SmartVestor at RamseySolutions.com and see if you can find a SmartVestor Pro or two in the area to talk to you about the possibility of being a financial advisor working on one of their teams and what it would take to get to be that and do that. What kind of ramp up there would be, what kind of on-ramp there would be to do that. Because it sounds like you're wanting to get hand-to-hand, kneecap to kneecap with folks and actually help them with their investments or help them with their money in some way. And that might be a way to start doing that. The other thing I would tell you to do is just comb through the different free offerings on KenColeman.com, Ken Coleman's website. He's got a lot of stuff on there about how you get clear on what it is you're wanting to do, and then what your next steps are. And we'll send you a copy of his book, The Proximity Principle. It was a #1 bestseller about the importance of being in proximity to the people, the places, the activities that you want to be a part of. You still are pretty panned back. This is still very big picture. And so your next step is to get more clarity on exactly which direction to move.
Yeah, and you'll learn some of that through doing. Your first job out of college won't be your dream job. That's okay. It's just do something in the direction you want to go. Get your feet wet, get some reps, real life experience, and go, oh, I really like this, but not so much this. It's going to teach you about yourself and more about what you want by doing something. So look, get clarity and then take some action. Ken's resources will help you do that.
And that's good wisdom. I never really thought about it until you said that, but my first job out of college was not my dream job. It was my nightmare job. It was the worst in the world. Oh, and the worst people, too. It was just nasty. Ugh. Christy Wright, good job. James Childs, Kelly Daniels in the booth, good job. I'm Dave Ramsey, your host. We'll be back with you before you know it. In the meantime, remember, there's ultimately only one way to financial peace, and that's to walk daily with the Prince of Peace, Christ Jesus.
Hey, it's Kelly, associate producer and phone screener for The Ramsey Show. If you would like to do your debt-free scream live on the show, make sure you visit TheRamseyShow.com and register. We would love for you to come to Nashville and tell Dave your story.